There is a whisper that travels beyond time, a vibration that moves through dimensions before the first breath is taken. It exists in the stillness before life, in the silence before the soul descends. And within that sacred pause, you made a choice. You were not alone. Surrounded by beings of light and infinite awareness, you gazed upon the map of your next life. The landscapes were blurry, still forming, but the faces were already clear. Some filled you with joy, others with longing. And then there were a few who stirred something ancient in you, a recognition that pierced through lifetimes. These were the ones you asked to meet again. Before you were born, you made a request, not out of need, but out of love. A deep, cosmic longing to feel again the presence of souls who had once walked beside you. Perhaps they were teachers, or lovers, or even adversaries. It didn't matter the role. What mattered was the connection, the echo of something unresolved, or something so beautiful it had to be touched one more time. Weiss speaks of these soul contracts, not as fantasy, but as a remembrance. A science of the spirit that reveals the orchestrated dance of reincarnation. According to his studies, and the thousands of past life regressions he's guided, souls do not return randomly. There is a pattern, a reason, a choice. The people in your life, especially the ones who shake you, heal you, or leave you breathless, were never strangers. They were chosen. Or more accurately, they were remembered. Weiss teaches that time is not linear. What feels like a future meeting may already exist in the soul's memory. You are not walking toward chance, you are walking toward design. Every reunion, every unexpected bond carries a deeper layer, invisible to the eye but unmistakable to the soul. Can you feel it? That strange familiarity when you look into someone's eyes for the first time and sense you've known them forever, or the sudden weight of emotion when a stranger's words reach into your core and awaken something buried. These are not coincidences. They are reminders, evidence that before you entered this body you made a sacred vow, let me find them again. But why? Why this desire to meet again? Because the soul is a mirror of the divine, and in the presence of these souls you remember who you are. In their laughter, in their sorrow, in their embrace, you touch your essence. These encounters are not about completion, but about awakening. They are not interruptions in your journey, they are the journey. The people you meet now, especially the ones who alter the rhythm of your heart or the direction of your path, are fulfilling a promise, and you too are fulfilling theirs. You are both walking each other home again. As you continue watching, we'll explore the layers of this spiritual memory. But before we move forward, allow this truth to settle. The soul never forgets who it loves. If these words stirred something within you, if you felt even a faint echo of truth, then let your presence here be part of the unfolding. Subscribe to the channel, not out of habit, but as an act of remembrance. You are not here by chance. Somewhere beyond memory and form, before the weaving of flesh and name, you sketched a blueprint, not with ink or words, but with intention. This sacred design was infused with learning, healing, and reunion. It wasn't fate imposed upon you. It was a map you traced with infinite love, hand in hand with other souls who would share the path. Weiss often described this pre-birth planning as a council of light, where the soul reviews its evolution across lifetimes and chooses lessons yet to be integrated. But more than that, the soul seeks encounters, it seeks connection. And those connections are never arbitrary. What if the most significant person in your life, whether a parent, partner, or friend, was not simply assigned to you, but agreed to meet you again across the veil of forgetting? What if every deep bond in your life today was forged not in time, but in eternity? According to Weiss, souls return together in what he calls soul groups. These are clusters of consciousness that incarnate repeatedly in various roles, playing out different dynamics to foster growth and insight. One life you are the child, another the teacher, another the one who must forgive. The costume changes, but the essence remains. These roles are not dictated by karma in a punitive sense, but rather as opportunities for rebalancing, for restoring harmony where pain once resided, or simply for experiencing love from a new vantage point. Even conflict serves this greater pattern. Even separation has its place in the design. This is why some meetings feel so charged, so immediate, so unforgettable. You are not starting from zero. You are continuing a dialogue that began long before you were born. A gaze, a smile, a gesture can unlock entire dimensions of feeling because they carry the energetic imprint of what came before. Weiss tells stories of patients who, under hypnosis, recalled past lifetimes with their current partners, sometimes as spouses, sometimes as siblings, even as enemies. But in every case there was a thread, a through line of presence that transcended time. Can you feel it in your own life? That sense that certain people are more than just acquaintances, that they hold a frequency you can't explain, but deeply recognize, that their absence would unmake you in a way far deeper than reason. These are not illusions. They are soul contracts unfolding in real time. You're not merely living a life, you are fulfilling a sacred choreography you once helped compose. But here's the paradox. Part of the agreement was to forget. Forget the details, the lifetimes, the pain, even the promises. This amnesia is not a flaw. It is the canvas upon which free will paints new meaning. Yet even in forgetfulness, the soul remembers enough to be drawn to certain voices, certain eyes, certain silences that say more than words ever could. This magnetic pull is not about logic, it's about resonance. It's how the soul finds its way back to the ones it asked to meet again. Let that truth settle into you now, not as belief, but as vibration. You didn't come here alone, and you will not walk alone. The blueprint is already unfolding. Every encounter is a page from that sacred design. And as we continue, we will descend further into the layers of remembrance, not just who they are, but why you ask to find them once more. There is a language the soul speaks fluently, though the mind struggles to interpret it. It is not spoken in words, but in vibrations, impressions, and sudden waves of knowing. It is the language of recognition. And when you meet someone your soul remembers, it speaks instantly, even if you are unaware of the dialogue. How do you know you've met someone you asked to see again before birth? You know by the silence that stretches comfortably between you, by the ease with which you exist in their presence, by the sense of time bending, as if you've slipped through the seams of reality and found yourself in something older than this life. Weiss describes these encounters not as coincidences, but as soul markers, signposts that confirm you are on the path your higher self designed. They often appear at moments of transition, when your soul is ready to remember something it had momentarily forgotten. Sometimes the recognition is joyful, other times it's unsettling, because not all soul reunions come wrapped in harmony. Some are charged, complicated, even painful, but beneath every emotional reaction is an energetic memory. You are responding not just to the person in front of you, but to the soul they've always been, and the story you share. This is why someone you just met can feel more familiar than people you've known for years. It's why a glance can hold more truth than an entire conversation. It's why your heart sometimes leaps before your mind can catch up. These are not illusions of fantasy. They are echoes of continuity, and your soul is listening. Weiss explains that during past life regression, many people describe these recognitions in rich detail. They see themselves meeting loved ones across centuries, playing different roles but always bound by invisible threads. These moments carry intense emotional charge, not because of what's being remembered, but because of what's being relived. You may have experienced this in subtle ways, through dreams that feel more real than waking life, or in spontaneous images that appear in meditation or moments of stillness. Sometimes the soul slips a memory into consciousness not as information, but as sensation. A wave of warmth, a pang of sorrow, an unexplainable joy. Pay attention to these moments. They are sacred. They are how the soul confirms its knowing without needing to convince the mind. They bypass logic because they come from a deeper place, a place where time, language, and form dissolve, a place where only essence remains. When you recognize someone on that level, it's as if your soul exhales, as if it says, "Yes, there you are." But this recognition isn't always about clinging. Often it's about honoring. The soul doesn't always seek permanence, it seeks resonance. Some reunions are meant to awaken something, not to stay. And that too is part of the agreement. As we journey through life, these soul echoes become anchors. They remind us of the truth we once knew, that we are connected beyond circumstance. That nothing essential is ever truly lost. And that love once woven between souls never unravels. So when you meet someone and your heart pauses, when you feel a presence too vast for explanation, lean in. Don't explain it away. Listen to what the silence is saying. It might be the echo of a promise you made before you came here. Because sometimes recognition is not about memory. It's about alignment. And in the next chapter, we will step deeper into this alignment, not just how we feel it, but how it shapes the unfolding of our lives. When two souls meet again in this life, something stirs beneath the surface of awareness. A shift begins, not always visible but undeniable. The trajectory of a life subtly bends. Sometimes it alters completely. Because soul reunions are not passive, they are catalysts. Weiss often spoke of these reunions not just as emotional events, but as spiritual activations. They awaken dormant aspects of who you are. They illuminate paths that had been veiled. They carry within them the power to unlock healing, transformation, and purpose. But only if you are willing to listen, to observe, and to trust the invisible rhythm guiding your steps. You may not understand at first why a certain person has re-entered your orbit. It might seem inconvenient. It might arrive with chaos or with overwhelming tenderness. And yet beneath the appearances there is design, there is grace. There is a lesson you asked to learn, a mirror you agreed to hold. Some reunions bring healing simply through presence. No words need to be spoken. No history needs to be recalled. The frequency between you restores what was once broken. In these encounters, love moves silently, like light touching the edges of shadow. It softens the heart. It reclaims what pain tried to erase. Other reunions challenge you to grow. They press on old wounds, stir emotional currents, or pull you into patterns that test your strength. And though it may feel like struggle, what's truly happening is the resurfacing of an ancient contract, a sacred chance to choose differently this time. To respond not with fear but with awareness, not with resistance but with compassion. Weiss observed this dynamic often. His patients would meet someone in their present life who triggered deep emotional reactions. Through regression, they would discover unresolved stories, betrayals, losses, unmet longings from past lives still echoing in the present. But the reunion was never random. It was opportunity. The soul calling forth what was unfinished so that it could be seen, felt, and finally released. And sometimes, the most profound impact of a reunion isn't what it brings to you, but what it awakens through you. You may become someone else's activation. Your presence may stir their remembrance. Your words may unlock something buried in them. You become a living reminder of something eternal. And in doing so, your very existence becomes sacred service. But there is no hierarchy to these encounters. Whether they last a lifetime or a moment, whether they end in peace or mystery, each one has a place. Each one shifts the field of your becoming. And even if the outcome isn't what the mind desires, the soul remains faithful to the unfolding. It is easy to believe that we are alone in our journey, that our choices, our relationships, our paths are isolated, but every step you take sends ripples through the web of connection, and every soul you meet again is responding to those same ripples. This is the hidden architecture of your life. Not just a series of events, but a living tapestry of souls weaving in and out of your experience, following threads spun long before birth. Every meeting, every departure, every transformation is part of the sacred story you are here to live. And the more you attune to this rhythm, the more gracefully you walk your path, not in search, but in recognition. Now, we approach the final layer. The moment when all echoes converge, when remembrance becomes action, and what was once invisible asks to be lived fully. You are not who you think you are. You are far more, an ancient presence wearing a temporary name. And now that you remember the sacred agreements, the question is no longer if you were meant to meet them again. The question is, what will you do with this knowing? Awareness without action is just echo, but awareness embodied becomes evolution. The souls you asked to meet before you were born did not come into your life for observation. They came to co-create something, a healing, a choice, a ripple of love that only you in your unique embodiment could offer. You are not just the student of this path, you are the artist, the weaver, the one who said yes long before this lifetime began. Weiss reminds us that remembering past lives is not about indulging in mystery, it's about liberating the present. When you recognize who someone truly is to your soul, when you feel that pull of destiny vibrating beneath the surface, you are being invited to act differently, to love with more presence, to forgive with more depth, to listen with more openness, to walk this moment not as a bystander but as a soul fulfilling its vow. This is the essence of spiritual maturity, not to dwell in the past, but to awaken through it, to use the memory of reunion as a force of transformation. Because nothing in your path is accidental, and no soul crosses your threshold without a reason, even if that reason unfolds slowly. Perhaps you are still in the middle of the story. Perhaps someone you feel deeply connected to has drifted away, or never even recognized the depth you sensed. That too is part of the divine orchestration. Some souls awaken side by side, others awaken in separation, but every meeting fulfills a purpose, even if the mind never understands it. So trust the thread. Trust the longing that led you here. Trust the strange gravity that draws you to certain people, certain places, certain sensations that have no logic but carry the weight of eternity. And if someone comes into your life and everything shifts, don't run, stay present, even if it hurts, even if it confuses you, because that encounter was likely written in the stars of your own choosing. You asked to find them, you asked to remember, and now that you have, something sacred is possible. Not all reunions are meant to last forever in form, but their purpose is eternal. Some stay, some leave, some only touch your life for a moment, and yet leave an imprint so profound it echoes through every choice that follows. These are the fingerprints of soul contracts fulfilled, quiet, irrefutable. Holy, you are not a passive traveler in this life, you are the author of it, and your story is woven from agreements made in a place beyond time, with souls you could never forget. You asked to meet them once more, not because you needed to, but because you knew something could be born from that meeting. Something real, something eternal. Now is the time to honor that promise. If these words touched your soul, subscribe to the channel and click on the video that just appeared on your screen. It was chosen especially for you. I know you'll love it.